Hello my dear friends, welcome back to another Star Wars video. It is I coming at you once again, your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg. And we just got a massive reveal in the brand new Star Wars comic series Jedi Knights. Issue number 1 has just been released, and it's set 8 years before the Phantom Menace. While Chancellor Valorum and the Galactic Senate oversee democracy across the Republic, thousands of Jedi Knights maintain peace and justice. That being said, there are still pockets of conflict. After centuries of distrust and tension between the Outer Rim worlds of Vakura and Syrinx Prime, Vakura has invaded, and open warfare has broken out. In response to the crisis, Chancellor Valorum has dispatched a contingent of Jedi Knights to bring an end to the fighting. And in this issue, we see most of the Jedi Council from the Phantom Menace, as well as a couple of new faces. Ones who I assume are gonna die, since they don't appear later in the timeline in episode 1. One of the new characters is Adi Gallia's canon Padawan, Sira Longa. In the expanded universe, her Padawan was Siri Tachi, who is also part of the new Star Wars canon, but has a much less prominent role. She was one of Obi-Wan's early love interests. But the most amazing thing about this comic issue isn't the Jedi mission itself, but it's when they return to Coruscant. Young Obi-Wan is meditating. Yoda comes in, and Obi-Wan informs him he had a vision of the future. It's a jumbled mishmash of events we know take place further down the line in the Skywalker saga. But because the vision is a vague outline, some of the characters and species are all jumbled up. So in this version, Jango Fett, who Obi-Wan will later meet on Kamino, is fighting a distorted version of Aurra Sing with a blade. During Obi-Wan's vision, there's a bit of a jumbled up version of Revenge of the Sith, because for some reason Yoda ends up the Sith Emperor and not Palpatine. And for whatever reason, the Battle of the Heroes is between a Padawan Obi-Wan and Count Dooku wielding a blue blade. And an older Dooku kills Yaddle, instead of the younger blue-bladed version from Tales of the Jedi. But the vision that frightens him the most is foreseeing Qui-Gon's death. However, he doesn't see Darth Maul, he doesn't see a Sith. There is no red lightsaber. Like I said, a jumbled up mishmash with some truth in it. The killer Obi-Wan thinks is going to kill Qui-Gon is the assassin from earlier in the comic. But the one part of the vision that stood out to me the most is that Obi-Wan sees Kelleran Beq rescuing a child from a crisis. Due to the mixed up nature of this vision, the species of the youngling is mistaken. This is meant to be Grogu. Star Wars canon has confirmed Obi-Wan saw a vision of Kelleran Beq rescuing Grogu from Order 66. That is pretty amazing. Because Kelleran seems to have been part of a wider network to save Force sensitives during this time, if this isn't meant to be Grogu, it could be one of the other children he rescued. And a further question this raises is, where did he take Grogu at the end of the Order 66 flashback? Where is Grogu in the missing years between Order 66 and The Mandalorian Season 1 on Arvala 7? Kelleran says he's taking Grogu to meet some of his friends. Is he referring to the Hidden Path from the Kenobi show, the secret underground network? Was Grogu smuggled through it and then taken? This is why Grogu's mind went dark for so many years. I wonder if as a Force ghost, Obi-Wan found out Grogu survived. That could be something answered in Ahsoka, considering she's met Grogu as well. There have been theories that Grogu is part of the Celestial Mortis stuff. Some fans have speculated the way they've named him the Child could be indicative to a future connection to the Ones, the daughter, the brother, the father, the child, Grogu. Now while we're on the subject of the Yoda species, the comic does something else incredible. It recanonizes one of Yaddle's most dangerous abilities. Now granted, it's been mentioned 1 or 2 times in the High Republic, but this is really the first time they're connecting it to Yaddle in the context of the Phantom Menace in Disney Star Wars canon. Each of the Jedi we know in this comic issue gets a small introduction, and under Jedi Master Yaddle, they write Mori Crow Practitioner. Mori Crow was also known as the Touch of Death. It was an ancient Jedi art which allowed its users to slow down the bodily functions of their opponents to the point of death. Yaddle was one of the few Jedi permitted to use it. It was considered by some borderline dark side. In Yaddle's own words, Mori Crow rapidly slows the body functions of targets, most effective for subduing opponents, but it's considered too dangerous. The target must be constantly monitored. The ancient Jedi realized you could die of dehydration or starvation. In spite of skepticism from Yoda, Yaddle insisted Morikro is not a dark side force ability, because it's not malevolent. I have to be honest, my dear friends, I wasn't expecting much from this comic, but it did give us a couple of gems. I'm really loving the expanded universe feel of it, because it finally gives the spotlight to lesser known Jedi, and it demonstrates that even before the Clone Wars began, some Jedi Council members were concerned the role of the Order had changed. They were becoming too entwined in political matters. And one of those in this comic issue is Adi Gallia, who would later tragically die at the hands of Savage Opress. But she was a very wise Jedi, one who also often questioned the decisions of Master Yoda, as exemplified in this comic in her conversation with Sira Longa. Longa says, "I don't think Master Yoda wanted us to wander so far from the battle." Adi Gallia replies, "It was Master Yoda who suggested this detour. The galaxy is large, and our knowledge of this system isn't what it should be. Are you suggesting this isn't a Jedi matter, Master Adi Gallia?" And she answers, "No. Though I am lamenting that circumstances are so urgent, the Jedi have forced their way into this mess without all of the available facts." And what she's talking about is exactly what we saw in the novel The Living Force. Many council members felt as though the Jedi were overstepping. Yet another fascinating tenet of this comic is how Qui-Gon seems to sense he's nearing the end of his life, but Obi-Wan's vision is mind-blowing. And this first issue also fulfills a promise that dates back to The Empire Strikes Back. Further down the line, when Obi-Wan's Force Ghost appears to Luke on Hoth, and he tells him, "You will go to the Dagobah system. There you will learn from Yoda, the Jedi Master who instructed me." After the prequels came out, fans were wondering, why did he say that Yoda was his master? Well, obviously Master Yoda trained so many different Padawans over the years, and even if Yoda wasn't his direct primary Jedi Master, he would have trained Obi-Wan in a class of younglings. Well, this comic gives us a direct one-on-one lesson between Yoda and Obi-Wan. A new lesson I have for you. He tells a young Kenobi, "Feel the Force, concentrate, through closed eyes, more you see." "Yes, Master Yoda," Obi-Wan replies, "though it feels different. More focused you are. The images clearer they become." Yoda knows Obi-Wan had a nightmare vision, and while many of the events are misconstrued, Yoda tells him, some will come true and some will not. I love the insertion of Kelleran, and maybe this is just fan service. Maybe this is Lucasfilm's way of connecting the wider universe. Share your thoughts on everything we spoke about in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, my dear friends, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, check me out on socials, check out my breakdown of the Andor Season 2 special look from yesterday, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.